There's baseline construction is really a huge topic. So I'm just going to say this. Please look at those PDFs that are attached in the link. They're free. You can just grab them. They vary. There's some really great ones for the G blues, a couple of beginning exercises to get you started on Fly Me to the Moon, even with Autumn Leaves, with chords in the melody, some various ways to approach it. I have bassline for with chord progression. If you're a gypsy jazzer, it's nice to put bassline movements with your comping. But today we're going to be pretty much talking more about single note bassline construction, pretty much quarter notes. So like if you look at the PDFs for Fly Me to the Moon, it starts off with, hey, go root to the third, root to the fifth, and then the next one would be the arpeggio. You would break it up. But to me, a really good bass line is not just an arpeggio. Okay, you want to know where those chord tones are, but you want to start to connect them smoothly in a quarter note fashion. Usually that's what we would call the walking bass line. If it's in a two feel, then it'd be half notes, not quarter notes. Okay, so, and sometimes you can have what's called a broken two feel or broken feel, where you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You can kind of break it up to the bass line. So really, I suggest that your ears shift toward bass lines on some of your favorite jazz recordings, from Miles Davis to Grant Green or Wes Montgomery to Bill Evans. Listen to what the bass is doing. Listen to how it varies from the first time through, meaning the head, to the solos. Oftentimes the bass will be in two. That's again half notes, or the broken two feel. Again, that's half notes with some chord notes, and then it'll start walking in the for the solos. Okay, and then if there's multiple soloists, these are just some considerations. If there's multiple soloists, it might often switch back up and go back to the two feel for the next soloist, just to give it a different feel, variation. So you're going to want to consider that. I'm not turning you all into bass players, but if you're accompanying a singer, these are some things you kind of want to think about, is how do I mix it up? Or if there is no bass player, you want to break it up like that. And it's nice to do that with chords again too. And I suggest that you check out my examples that I attached. And if you're on Patreon, there's a lot more for summertime. There's Autumn Leaves. There's more examples. And Black Orpheus as well. So type in the chat. Tell me what you were, if you have questions or comments on this right away. Today's workshop is to help you learn more about bassline construction. And I'm just going to kind of, expand on what I just said. Make sure you go root fifth first. That's the most popular, root fifth, just like in bluegrass or country music, root fifth. But it's not that much different. Or if you're playing bossa nova, where you're doing the root fifth. So that's important. Root third is very melodic. And that's, again, you want to practice these exercises. And that's why arpeggios are so important. So take Autumn Leaves. Root, third, root, third, root, third, root, third, root, third, root, third, root. The falling leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves, root third, red and gold. I see your lips with some kisses. Now I'm walking. And I'm going to talk. If I can't talk and play at the same time, don't recommend. But I'm going to talk about some of the concepts about creating those bass lines. Okay, it varies from song to song. This is another tip. You want to pay attention to what the melody is. Okay, because the melody sometimes is on the root, sometimes on the third, sometimes on the fifth. You want to harmonize with it, maybe. And I'll use an example of "Fly Me to the Moon," which is a uber popular song for singers and standards. So again, what I was just demonstrating there was root fifth, The autumn leaves, root fifth, drift by my window, root fifth. The autumn leaves of red and gold, root fifth, root third. I see your lips. Now I'm gonna put chords. Summer kisses, sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long. But soon I'll hear root third, root old winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. So there I was going root third, root third. When I put the chord, the inversion with it. And that's really a beautiful style. Hey, that's great, John. Thanks for the feedback. I'm glad you're into this. Fingering's an issue. You want to work these out, and I'm demonstrating again. This is a lot for comping, walking bass when you're comping. So there, that what I just played, by the way, is on that worksheet. So if you want to learn the autumn leaves in two, it says autumn leaves in two. You'll see the melody there, the score, and then you can break it up and do these inversions. Root third, root third. Walk. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. I just wanted to give you a demonstration again. And I also wrote that for Fly Me to the Moon. You'll see the process. Root fifth, root third. You could do the arpeggio. And then, of course, connecting lines. And it's going to bleed in to your leads as too. You can start to solo and be really melodic. It's really beautiful if you're doing a duo with just a bass player and you're playing some harmony, sometimes some unisons and octaves. It's really sweet when they're walking and you're walking quarter note lines. So it's really good exercise to develop your lines, your melodic line. Okay, give it some shape, some harmonic interest as well. So let's go and take a song like Fly Me to the Moon. I'm going to just demonstrate a couple things on that song. Well, actually, no, let's stay with Autumn Leaves for a minute here. But type in the chat if you're here, because that way I know who's watching, especially if you're a Patreon member and if this topic is a popular topic or not. So, okay, you've got the arpeggio down to the falling leaves. This is arpeggio. Drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. And a root, just hanging on E. I see your lips, arpeggio. So again, that's good to know that, but I don't want to hear an arpeggio just up and down as a bass line. I'd rather hear it connect smoothly. So one thing, here's the first bass line you're going to learn, a new pattern for you. On a minor chord, you want to go 1, 2, flat 3, 5. Okay. So A, B, where I'm on A minor, so Autumn Leaves in the standard key. Sorry if you're wondering, what is he doing? A minor 7, 1, 2, flat 3, 5. And I do want you to think in terms of numbers. Okay. This is a really popular melodic cell. Okay, 4-note grouping. It's not going right up the scale. Okay, you're going 1, 2, 3, 5. It's like an arpeggio. It's like an add 2 arpeggio if you want to think of it that way. But learn it. So we have this, and we can do it on a major chord as well. So even on the dominant. Okay, so you want to get that down. 1, 2, 3, 5. And again, the 3 will be flat if it's minor. And if it's a major or a dominant chord, then you'll have the major third. Okay. That's a really important bass line to get down. I'm going to go to the song Fly Me to the Moon just to demonstrate. For those that didn't know the melody. Let's see if we could do the 1, 2, 3, 5 bass line on the first 8 bars. Here's the melody if you want to sing it with me. And even though I'm not I don't claim to be a great singer, it's important to sing the melody if you can and listen to the bass. So let's try this together. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. So there's some harmony. I'm going to do it without this singing so you can hear. I think about this too. This is creating some counterpoint, but check this out. There it is. So again, that's hard. I'm doing the bass line. This is easy to do it isolated. Use your loop pedal if you need to. Keep it going. See, now we're up high there. And then singing the melody, this is a beautiful thing about this. Is why I said it's important to know what the melody is. So in this case, Fly Me to the Moon is a great example, such as Autumn Leaves and All the Things You Are, and a lot of jazz standards that target the third. Again, I'm just going to sing it. It's hard to play both the melody and a walking bass line. Some guys can do that. They have it all worked out with the counterpoint. It's a little extreme, but it sounds cool. But in this case, imagine you're backing up a singer. They're going to go, fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. And then the chords shift there to 2 beats per measure, and I'll show you what to do there. Hey, Carl, welcome. Good to see you. Fly Me to the Moon is a really great example. So again, that's the exercise there is the 1, 2, 3, 5. It sounds really nice, and it's very common. A minor, D minor, G7, C, F. Beautiful progression, and we can do it down low too. You can see I'm saying just octave displacement. So again, you want to work that out. I'll have a couple new PDFs for Patreon members after this session, specifically on this. This is why I do these live streams, because these topics come up in private lessons, and I'm like, oh, this will make a great live stream, especially things that get asked about often. Hey, Oliver, you made it. Welcome. Such as with Oliver. Diamond tier on Patreon. Some great topics. That's what prompted me yesterday, these recent lessons on the blues. And the blues, by the way, there's some worksheets on the 12-bar blues, jazz blues specifically, where you're connecting it with some walking bass lines like this. 1, 6, 2, 5. So again, that's all on there. There's some 1, 6, 2, 5 in there. There's static chords. What do I do when the chord just stays on a dominant chord, or any chord for that matter, for a measure or 2 measures, if you don't want it walking? There's a lot of different topics that come up. The blues, is more focused on the dominant sound. So let's go back to another concept, and that's adding a passing tone, a chromatic passing tone. Now, this might seem kind of weird, and I recommend that you also check this out for my summertime and minor swing, which is not attached. If you're a Patreon member, you have to go back and find those. I'll say with bass line, with walking bass. So it's kind of weird that on a minor chord, you can have a major third, and it's going to be, and this is assuming it's going to go, this is where I'm saying it's context driven. If you're going to be going from the 1 to the 4 chord. So for example, A minor to D minor, that's 1 to 4, just I'm pretending A minor is the 1, of course, as if we're in summertime or for the moment. So in autumn, in Fly Me to the Moon, A minor, if you're in the key of C, A minor 6 and D minor is the 2, but it's still the same movement. So check this out. So you could put that C sharp there to lead to the D. That's a leading tone. So A minor 7, C sharp to the D minor. It's on beat 4. And same thing on D minor. D minor to the G7 is D, E, F, and don't go to the A, the 5th. Put the major third. So it's going to be 1. These are little formulas here for you to write down. Hint, hint. 1, 2, flat 3. That's all in the demonstrations as well. Natural third. Kind of like you're playing a blues lick. And I actually do this on a major chord or dominant chord as well. But if I were to comp with a chord, it would be minor 7. G7. C major 7. Okay. So check it out in context. I'll do it slow. I'll sing it, try to sing the melody here best I can in tune, and then play that bass line 1, 2, flat 3, natural 3, major third for the minor chord. Starting note, if you want to sing it with me. Fly me to the moon. See what I mean? So here's the counterpoint that you'd be getting for this particular melody with this bass line concept. Okay, that would be a diminished chord into the minor. So you're putting a secondary dominant by doing this. A7 or A7 flat 9. Okay, that's the concept there. Sorry. That was a C sharp in the bass and a G in the melody to the third. Let's see if I'm going to do it here. Ready for this? F sharp and C. That'd be like a D7 flat 9 chord or D7 chord going to the G. So it's almost like we're doing these secondary dominants like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. When you're doing this concept of putting that leading tone on beat 4. Okay, so write that down. Leading tone, beat 4. Major or minor. Now, when you're doing a dominant or major chord, you could put the flat 3 in there. So again, this part of it here is we're adding a chromatic passing tone. Type in the chat if you're enjoying these lessons. Please let me know. And if you like the topic of walking bass, because we can definitely expand on this. Today is just a primer, just a little intro on a couple classic moves on creating a bass line. Of course, I'm going to say it again if you missed it from the beginning. You got to know you got to know the roots first, right? On any song, just go through it with roots, then go through root and 5th, and then go root and 3rd of the chord. This is assuming you have a 1 measure per chord harmonic rhythm, and then do the arpeggio. Okay, 1, 3, 5, 7 or 1, 3, 5, 6. That's a chord tone arpeggio too. And then now we can get some nice kind of broken scales. The first was 1, 2, 3, 5. Which I demonstrated. And then this one here, we're going 1, 2, 3 on a minor, 1, 2, flat 3, then major 3. On a major chord, it'd be 1, 2, flat 3, 3. So it's the same thing, but the chord would be or dominant too, major or dominant. And here's how I do it with comping. Okay, so you put these 3-note voicings with it. And again, that's what I have some examples already, as I mentioned, for minor swing. Summertime, where you're going. And of course, if the harmonic rhythm is there, I was giving 2 beats each, because that's a little bit more manageable, and it makes more sense at a fast tempo. This is Fly Me to the Moon now. I mean, is it Minor Swing or is it Autumn Leaves or Fly Me to the Moon? So you can use this over all of these, from swing songs to jazz standards. So check it out here. Let's try it with Autumn Leaves and then put it back to Fly Me to the Moon. This is with the passing tone. What song did I say? Autumn Leaves. The falling leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves, red and gold. See your lips, summer kisses. So, and if you notice this great little hack or trick, I'm staying completely on the 6th string here. I'm doing this. Of red and gold. Cool, Oliver. Thanks. Glad to hear. Yeah, let me know if you're enjoying these. These are just things I've learned on the bandstand, not from books. Really, just from doing it with vocalists, thinking about it, playing it, trying to figure out what works, but also listening, of course, too. So I'm sure there are some books on it, but I'm writing out some examples of what some exercises that will help you do it, and some tips. Again, that's all available, of course, as I mentioned, on Patreon. So that, notice again, I stayed on the 6th string. I want to try it on the 5th string just for practice. You could do it on each individual string to really get to know your notes. We're connecting the dots. Again, you got to know the roots, right? Because we're basically just connecting the root of the chord and not playing the third. That would be nice as well to do more for soloing purposes, kind of connecting the thirds. It's so melodic. While the bass, especially if you're doing a duo, the bass player is pretty much staying on the roots. I'll keep it at that tempo. The falling leaves drift by my window. See? The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, 6th string, a little faster. The days grow long, but soon I'll hear with some chords old winter song. God, I miss you most of all. Don't know what language I was speaking there, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall. Lead. Check this out. And then again, you can start to break it up and start to play some leads where you're thinking that same bass line concept. It's really fun to play the changes like that and do quarter notes or develop your lines. So again, there I was demonstrating. This is putting me on the spot too, which is really good. Good practice. So there I was demonstrating staying on one string, either the 6th or the 5th. And then, of course, for that little lead demonstration, I was staying in position. But you can start to mix and match. Be able to target. That's a key word here. Target those roots. Know where the 3rd, 5th is. Learn these patterns. 1, 2, 3, 5. And, of course, if it's minor, 1, 2, flat 3. And if you want to have that chromatic passing tone, for minor, it's going to be 1, 2, flat 3, 3. And then for the major or dominant, it's going to be 1, 2, flat 3, 3. It's the same thing. Isn't that funny? Okay, but that's not true though. That's only when the minor is following the cycle of fourths. A, D, G, C, F. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really know the progression. And another one that I noticed I was doing when it just stays on a static chord is 1, 2, 3, 1. That's a really nice one. So simple, just to go E minor, then it walks. Now let's do some descending bass line. The most common is just write down the first four notes. That's called the tetrachord there, the first tetrachord. So if I was on a C major chord, meow, 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 just A, C, B, A, G, C, B, A, G. Okay, that's what I would do. And that works if I'm on C minor, B flat, A, G. Do you want to do the major? Nah, you don't want that. You want to again kind of think about how the notes would harmonize with the melody. That's often what I'm doing. So we'll come to that with an example. But again, this works. The descending works really nicely. There's a word here I want to say. Diatonic. There's a good word. Diatonic. What does diatonic mean? I did do the meow 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 meow, the cat song. That's where I first heard that's 8765. And it wasn't my cat meowing at me, but it was this meow 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 78765. I'm on a C chord, and it sounds like this with a C chord. Oh, by the way, a lot of this stuff you want to do with comping too. And I was demonstrating earlier, like these patterns. You want to do this. You want to be able to move these. With the chords. So work on those inversions. It's very important. But right now, we're just talking how to construct a bass line, okay, melodic bass line. And sometimes as I'm demonstrating, it's tune specific. But what I'm kind of also stressing are these common formulas that pretty much always work. And we'll look at all the things you are here in a second. I know time's ticking, so I appreciate your time here today with me. Yukon, welcome. Good to see you. No worries. I'm glad you can make it. By the way, if any of you on Patreon are watching this on Patreon, be sure to click where it says YouTube so it brings you to the live stream, because I don't know if you're watching and you can say hello in the chat. I want to get to all the things you are in a second so we can start to connect the dots here a little bit and apply some of these formulas. And I'm essentially giving you these are formulas, right? So let's go back to Autumn Leaves and try some of the descending stuff as well. Again, here it is super slow. The falling leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I want to do octaves. Sometimes I like to bounce up on the octaves, but I want to be careful and not to do this. I don't want to bust into some Texas Blues Shuffle, but that's a cool riff, not necessarily a walk and bass line, but it's nice to jump an octave, a fifth root, especially on a static chord. What does that mean? Where there's no harmonic movement, just E minor for 2 bars, and it's kind of nice to create some motion by going root fifth octave or root octave fifth or root 8, like a riff essentially. Okay. In the key, diatonic means thank you, Oliver. Lost my train of thought there, so I appreciate you following up on the word diatonic. Diatonic means to the key. So if you're wondering what notes are you choosing, right now I'm sticking to the key of E minor, key of G major for this particular demonstration where I'm doing the descending line. I've been showing you a couple ascending lines, one with a melodic cell 1, 2, 3, 5, one with the cell pattern of 1, 2, 3, flat 3, 3. And then now I'm showing, and then 1, 2, 3, 1. And now I'm showing you going 8, 7, 6, 5, essentially that will connect you to the next chord maybe. So let's try this out. Let's go to Fly Me to the Moon. I'm a little tired of Autumn Leaves right now. So now fly, fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on. Oops, I messed up. In June, let's do that again. Fly me to the moon and let me. So there on the D minor, I went down diatonically. Okay, 8, 1, 7, 6, 5. Before we went 1, 2, 3, 5. So notice we still got to the 5, and then that would bring us to the G. I'm going to do it slower. I'm going to try to sing in tune. I need a little bit more coffee, and then we'll see if it sounds good harmonically. If I had a piano, I would demonstrate it using the piano with the counterpoint concept. But these are some considerations you want to think about, especially if you're doing a ballad and you're backing up a singer. You don't want to play a note that might have too much clash to it. Sing it with me. Fly, fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Chromatic, Jupiter and Mars. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. 'Cause you are all I long. And you're going to get some cool harmonies, and there's some thirds if you were singing it. If you're backing up a good singer who's really in tune, it sounds beautiful. Those nice thirds and counterpoint too. So again, I just kind of went on automatic pilot there without trying to think too much. Again, demonstrating connecting the different bassline motifs here. Descending. Oh, dominant. So you gotta keep track. So here's a good tip. If it's dominant, you gotta get that flat 7 in. There I played a major 7 there. I forgot what song I was doing. I thought I was doing Autumn Leaves. But if you're descending, right, that's a major 7, for that was on the G. But if it was a dominant, okay, you gotta flat the 7. So just keep that in mind again. Let's go ahead and go to the paper. I've got a sound slice for all the things you are. Hopefully you all. So I hope you're enjoying this lesson on bassline construction. Fun topic. And there's a method to it. Okay. But there are also lots of things. And the main goal is to supply the harmony so you could hear the harmonic motion of the chord, give it some rhythm, quarter notes in this case, pretty much. You can break it up again, as I mentioned, in 2. So here's a tune, it's the bass line here for All the Things You Are. The melody is on the 3rd. The melody is this. All thirds. So again, this is another really nice complementary tune to Fly Me to the Moon in Autumn Leaves, except again, it's challenging because this is the other reason why it's hard. It's through composed, essentially from start to finish. It's not like AABA. It doesn't just repeat, or AAB as in Autumn Leaves. It's kind of just AB and AB section. You can think ABC, but it doesn't really repeat completely. So we're in the key. Oh, by the way, I put the key signature here. That'll help too. This will be available on Patreon with the sound slice practice video, but I thought it would make a nice process to kind of show you the demonstration for you to do it with me. Oh, if you don't read notes, don't worry, I'll yell it out. Again, once you have these patterns mapped out, you're set. So really just learn these patterns for the bassline construction. Let me put the key center here, key of, and this is a funny thing. It switches keys 5 times, but basically you'll see it written in the key of A flat major. Okay. So here, so the first example here, we're just going to walk it right up. 1, 2, flat 3, 5. Gosh, I think maybe I'll even go so far. Look at this. I'll put it'll look like a lyric, but it's not a lyric. 1, 2, flat 3, 5. You're getting the full treatment today. Again, that's melodic cell number 1 that I mentioned. Works beautiful, especially on the minor chord. And you can just keep it going through the songs, get through the cycle, because the song cycles through. So check it out. You could just do this. And there I was going completely through the first 8 bars with 1, 2, 3, 5. I'll do that again. Oops, D flat. Sorry. See what I mean? Hard song. So, especially when you're playing the other songs in the key of C there for a minute. So, 1, 2, and then here we can continue, but in this example here, I'm walking down now from the root to the 5th, the meow, 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 right? So let's write that in. 8 or 1, flat 7, 6, and the 5. And then back to this pattern, 1, 2, 3, 5. That's our most popular pattern to use. And we're just alternating here, 1, 7, 6, 5. Play this with me. Again, if you know the numbers and you know your roots, you don't even need to read the notes on this. That's my cat meowing. See, she heard me play the meow, meow, meow song. I went to the 5 here, or you could go just back to the root here. I'm gonna keep it right here is 1, 2, 3. This is the other pattern. It's really common. And then now here on the D, I'm gonna go. This is on the worksheet there. Now this is the first time we had 2 chords per measure. So I'm going to use this concept of going, oops, let me get out of this screen here. I'm going to put the root here, and I know I want to go to G. And here I could either choose to be diatonic and go D, A, G, B, C, and that would be very nice. Put that in for fun. That was root 5th, root 3rd, or consistent. Root 3rd, root 3rd. That's a nice line. So, and then meow, 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 meow. Cat's gonna meow. I'm gonna go C, D, E, C here. And then it's gonna go to E minor. This is what I was calling is a static chord right here. Some players, and I like to do this also, will put in some substitute chords. Really commonly and popular is C. Diatonic is a keyword here in the key. C major, we modulated here to key of C. C major, D minor, E minor, D minor. It's really nice, like this. But back to the C minor, which is now the new key. So check it out with the bass line. And I do like this. I'm gonna show you another option here. However, since it's a lesson on bass line construction, I'm gonna put a chromatic leading tone note. which in this case, the B to the D is fine, but this would be an F sharp. I like the F natural just fine. It's more diatonic. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3. If I have to look what I wrote here, I'll do here. D flat, T, C, C minor. Chromatic. Okay. So now I'm gonna continue with the label, leave that how it is. I will show you a different example over here. By the way, type in the chat here if you're just joining in. We're doing some bassline construction today. Right now, we're on All the Things You Are. We've already looked at Fly Me to the Moon and Autumn Leaves, some ideas, but now we're applying it to All the Things You Are, very popular standard. 1, 3, 1, 3. As I mentioned earlier too, I always say practice 1, 3, 1, 5, and when you have it, just 2 notes, okay, and 2. You can do the full arpeggio if you wanted to as well. 1. This is really 8, but this is the meow, 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 meow. 1, 7, 6, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1. And then now I want to go to the minor. 1, 2, flat 3, natural 3. Right? That's the leading tone. Hopefully you know what chord to put here. If you were to harmonize it, that would be a diminished 7 chord. That's like the Barry Harris method, where you're inserting a diminished 7 on each of the non-chord tones. And that would include that one as well, the E natural, because that leads us to here. That's a key word, leading tone. That's when you're going to especially use the dim 7. Let's keep going, guys. 1, 2, flat 3. Hopefully you read notes. If not, check out my new lessons on YouTube and Patreon on sight reading. We're really practicing getting our reading down together. And by the way, if you don't know about my Patreon, if you're new, if you're hiding under the rock, right? That's what they say, so to speak. Patreon, I have 5,000 plus lessons and posts. It's been happening for the last 7 years now. Daily posts and lessons for the last 3 years, every day, even when I'm sick, when I move, take the cat into the vet, I post new materials every day. And it's happening for 3 years plus. So you guys have been keeping me practicing, and I appreciate it. And I'm doing the same for you, I hope. Now we're descending here. We've got going up the dominant 1, 2, 3, 5. Now we're going down the major 1, 7, 6, 5. You're going to get these patterns down, and you're going to apply it to any standard. 1, 2, 3, 1. Now here's a quick change. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to go A. This is A flat, by the way. And now I'm going to put E flat here. I'm going to flat kind of a right here. And then I'm going to go to A flat just to have something different here to demonstrate the non-chord tone. So A natural, E, because of the key signature, don't be fooled, that's E flat. And then D, A flat to G. Those are the half-step approach notes. Again, if you're just joining, please grab those PDFs. I'm putting a whole batch of PDFs for free on the link, with the link in the description for getting you started on mastering bass lines. It's not that hard. Once you get these concepts down, that you can just stop right there and just apply it. You don't need to keep, it's the same stuff. So you'll get it down, trust me. But there's still a lot of room for improvisation. And then check this out. And here, because I'm looking ahead, it goes to the 2 here on the B section. The melodies. Stays on G. This again would be a static chord movement, and what a lot of players would do is just go G, G, A, B, B, G. Just going 1, 2, 3, 1. Or you could even get fancy and put it what would be a common turnaround to get to the 2 and do this. Now we're in the new key here. So same thing here, go 1 to the 4. If it's just, so basically we could put a C major here, or what I was just demonstrating was G major, C7, B minor to the E7, okay? So again, these are just, I wanted to demonstrate here on a static chord, we can actually do some different things here. Again, A flat, A, G, oh sorry, G, A, D, G major. Okay. I'm going to demonstrate with just the walk up because I do that quite often myself. A minor 7, D, okay. That was just A minor, G major 7, A minor, B minor 7, B flat minor 7, A minor 7. Okay. You choose what you like. You can just hang out on G. Do, 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 A minor, D, G, C, F sharp, B. Now I'm showing you how you can start to mix it up and get into your single note improvisations. So I hope this lesson helps you guys.